As my students would say, what's up, besties, and welcome to my podcast. My name is Lindsay, and I am a fifth grade teacher in California. I'm also a creator here on YouTube, and this is the first episode of my podcast, That California Teacher, where I discuss topics relevant to being a teacher, especially a teacher in California. Today's episode, I'm going to give you a roadmap on how to become a teacher if you're thinking about becoming a teacher, if you already are a teacher and you just are wondering what's changed, if anything, or if you have no idea how you landed on my corner of the internet. Let's get started. A little disclaimer before I actually get into the steps of becoming a teacher in California. Becoming a teacher in California is completely different than becoming a teacher anywhere else in the United States or in the world for that matter. I have a friend who got a credential in a different country and thought that they could teach in California, and that was not the case. It is very hard to become a teacher in California. It's very rigorous and there are a lot of steps. So if you are coming in to California with a credential from somewhere else, it's not going to be enough, and you really need to look into the details of what you have to add on to your credential to get your California credential cleared. That being said, let's start with the first step of becoming a teacher in California. The first step is that you simply just need a bachelor's degree. I got my bachelor's degree in journalism. I did want to be a journalist at the time. I ended up changing my mind and wanting to become a teacher, but because I had that bachelor's degree, I was then able to enter into a teaching program. Now, there also is an option where you can get your teaching credential while you're doing your bachelor's degree. That way is quicker. It'll only take you 4 years to get your bachelor's degree and your teaching credential at the same time, but it is very rigorous and it's just a lot. I don't know if I would recommend it. I personally didn't do it that way. I got the degree, I did the 4 years of college, and then I went back and did my teaching credential. And yes, it did take longer, but I don't know how I would have gotten all my major coursework done and my teaching credential work done. Like, that sounds awful and like a nightmare. So it's really up to you what you want to do. Do you want to just get it done really quickly, or do you want to just take your time and not feel super stressed about it? The next step is completing your teacher preparation program. If you decide to do it while you're getting your bachelor's degree, then it's integrated, it's quicker, it just is a lot of work. But if you decide to do it the way I did it, get your bachelor's degree and then do your teaching program. Basically, what the teaching program is hands-on experience where you will have coursework, but you'll also have to student teach and be inside of a classroom and really get that real world knowledge of like what it's actually like in a classroom rather than just reading a book about what it's like that was written in like 1998, because things are totally different now. This is the stage where I think people decide if they actually want to continue in the profession of teaching, is their teacher preparation program and their student teaching. During this teacher preparation program, you will have to take something called the EdTPA. It's kind of like a culmination of everything you learned, all the strategies, skills, buzzwords that your professors want to know, that you know what they mean. It is a written and visual test or assignment, I guess you could call it, where you film yourself doing consecutive amount of lessons and then you basically do a write-up of everything you did in that lesson, why you did it, why you passed certain papers out, what standards those covered, why you grouped certain kids next to each other, pretty much just annotating everything that you did in the video and how it relates to being a good educator and using all the skills that you've learned in your teacher preparation program. It's basically just proof that you can plan, teach, and assess your students, and it's not like a multiple choice quiz that like you could just guess on. The third step, and this step isn't necessarily the third step, it can be done while you're doing your teaching credential. It's these like tests you have to pass. I get anxiety just thinking about it because it was not a fun time for me. But there's 3 tests you have to pass. There's the CBEST. So that test basically you take it to show that you have general knowledge of academics. It's pretty easy. I did fail it the first time just because I totally wasn't prepared because people told me it was easy. And it is easy, I just wasn't ready. But it's a basic knowledge test. And then you have to take your CSET test. Now, this is the test that gets everyone. It got me like 6 times. It's split into 3 sections. So the CSET is the math and science, the reading and writing, and then the PE and music test. I passed the PE and music test the first time. The reading and writing, I thought I would pass the first time. It took me 2 tries. And then the math and science is so hard. I don't know anyone that has passed it for the first time. It took me 6 times to pass this test because you just are just hit with tons of math and science. And if you haven't done math and science in a long time because that wasn't your major, you have to do a lot of review. So you're also just doing all this review from math from like kinder to 8th grade, and you don't really know like what to focus on. So you just kind of have to relearn everything from kinder to 8th grade and just hope that the questions and the problems that you studied are just happened to be on the test. So that took me 6 times. And also, I don't know if this has changed, but the test is $100 for each subset. So math and science is $100. Reading and ELA or reading and writing is $100. PE and music, it's $100. So if you fail it, you can take it as many times as you want, but it costs you $100 and that comes out of your pocket. So study hard. The next test that you have to take is called the RICA test. The RICA wants to know that you know how to teach your kids how to read. So it wants to make sure that you've learned and understand and can implement different reading strategies. It really focuses on reading strategies from, I'd say, like 1st to 3rd grade. So if you're currently studying for the RICA, 1st and 3rd grade reading strategies, that is what is going to help you pass that test. That test wasn't that hard. I took it 2 times, but again, I just wasn't prepared for taking it the first time. But they definitely want to know that you know keywords, buzzwords, and that you're using specific detailed examples of reading strategies and why those reading strategies are helpful to your students. The great thing about some districts is that they will let you be a teacher on an emergency credential, even if you are still in your teaching program. Like, I think you have to be later on in the teaching program, but even if you are like towards the end of it and you haven't passed your tests yet, or say you finished the majority of that credential and you just can't pass the tests, some districts will let you still teach on an emergency credential, but that only goes for like a year, 2 years, and then you have to prove that you have passed that test or you are fired. Also to note that some teacher preparation programs like mine, to get to the last semester of that program, you had to prove that you could pass the CSET and the RICA. And because the math and science of the CSET took me so long, what was supposed to be a two-day, yeah, right. What was supposed to be a 2-year program ended up taking me 4 years. So I can't stress the importance, not just taking the tests and studying for the tests, but starting these tests early on. Like, you could take these tests whenever you want. You could take them before you even start your teaching preparation program. Take them as early as you can, study for them, take them seriously, because you don't want to be stuck having completed the majority of your credential and then you just you can't pass these tests. It's such a waste of time. Once you've completed your teaching program and you've passed all of these frustrating tests, you can then apply for your preliminary credential. Your preliminary credential is like your ticket in. Like your district knows, okay, this person passed their program, they passed all their tests, and they're about to get their credential, so we're going to hire them. It's preliminary. But that's not the last step. So, while you have a teaching job, you're on a preliminary credential, you then have to start something called induction. Now, this is your first 2 years of being a teacher, and you get a coach. And the coach is usually a teacher in your district or teacher at your school, preferably a teacher that's in your grade level at your school with you. And you basically do like an online program with them where you answer questions together. They come in and observe you, you observe them, you do little assignments here and there. And that's basically it. It is not hard at all. I think it actually, well, it kind of depends on who your coach is. If you have a chill coach, then it's not hard at all. If you have a coach who really just wants to be like diligent and detailed about everything, yeah, it can be annoying. It's not hard work, but it's work. So it's frustrating too because you do this whole program, you get your credential, then you pass all these tests, and then it's like, you're not done yet. You still have 2 more years of busy work. So those are the last 2 steps. Once you pass induction, you then apply for your credential. I don't know how much money it currently is, and I don't remember how much money it was to apply for it, but it does cost money. You get your credential, you are officially cleared, you are now a teacher, and then as soon as you know it, 5 years will fly by and you have to re-up that credential just so the state of California makes sure that, I don't know, that you are still alive. I don't know. I think it's just a way to make money. But you do have to pay and renew your credential every 5 years. Becoming a teacher in California is definitely a journey. You have to get your degree. You have to finish your credential program. You have to pass 3 sets of extremely difficult exams. You have to do your EdTPA, and you have to get your preliminary credential. Then you have to do induction, and then you apply for your official credential, and then just upkeep for 5 years. So those are the steps to becoming a teacher in California. No, actually, it doesn't seem that hard, but I promise you, it is. Those tests are really hard. Get studying, get them done early on. That's my recommendation. If this podcast helped you, please hit like, subscribe, leave a comment. Tell me where you're watching from, if you're a teacher, if you want to become a teacher, or if you have any questions, feel free to comment. Okay, bye.